You see, loyalty is not a concept that is absolute. In life, things lie side by side. You have to be loyal. For example, even our parents, who we ought to be loyal to. If they had to commit a crime, will you commit a crime? If you do, will the law say loyalty? So we see our brother, the senator, who wanted to save a daughter in London, which is a normal fatherly sympathy, correct, as a father. But he go foul the law as a consequence. So I think that the loyalty is threefold. One, to people who help you come to power. But the first question is, why did they help you to come to power? They help you because they want a continuity of good service to the people. So the compact should be clear. And that's why I like the point about ideological war. What we are suffering is that the concept of government as personal rule and ownership is now confused with the concept of government as serving the people. So at that level, loyalty is very simple. Loyalty is to respect the person, acknowledge what they did for you, help them in ways one should help his mentors. But loyalty does not mean surrendering the states and the development. That's not loyalty. So I want us to clarify our concept so that you don't accuse someone of being disloyal because they didn't support you to do crime or they didn't help you to commit crime. That's not disloyalty. The second aspect of loyalty, and I give an example, is that it's about the people's business. So a good man who brings a man to power will step aside. Let me use Akwa for example. So we've seen the Senate president bring Emmanuel Adebayo. They didn't quite have very cozy at some point. They were not that, but they didn't fight openly. There was no outbreak of war. Emmanuel brought, and each were people in government. Emmanuel was secretary to government, he left for the bank, he was with the government, he met him. Emmanuel chose one of his commissioners and the thing Emmanuel has done, which is remarkable, learning from experience, is that he disappeared. He handed over power, he literally brought the guy. In fact, stories that maybe his wife wasn't too, nobody was too pleased. They had the right kind of people they thought should hand over. But he said, this is the right guy, I think is the best person. And once he did that, he left the guy. He's not seen in Akwa Ibom. He's not grabbing headline. He's not complaining. And, you know, there's a reward for that good-spiritedness. He saw it on the TV, he was there to support, and when he came to support the government, he was at the total role. He waited carefully, humility. The governor is the one who says, I dedicate this to him and gave to him. So he's not struggling to grab back the power. So this is a model for us to watch. And what government did well, Amadi did very well. And that government is doing well too. So I think that loyalty is not, shouldn't be seen from the psychological trauma of people's own family. Loyalty is not that if you're not happy there, you're not loyal. That's not the measure. The measure is, have I unduly attacked my predecessor? Have I gone out to use the state to wreck you? If I have not, then we shouldn't say for one loyalty. So I don't want to get loyalty as zero sum. Loyalty has limitations and nature. The most important thing I think is that whether you're loyal or disloyal, let's do the work for the people. And when you help people come to power, that's why I talk about positive conspiracy. There must not be elites who will say, who will govern next? And they work hard to bring who they think will govern next. But when they do that, they shouldn't be co-governors. They should simply go back and allow the governor to govern. Leadership is a process in which we select our leaders. So the incumbent has a duty to also influence the job. You see, the thing is about what is motivating that duty. If we're talking about development as long term, and that's why we talk about the Asian tigers, as there are people think it was dictatorship that led to development. It's not true. What led to development was a long period of policy stability. Rwanda. So even if you are not a dictatorship, if you need to have a long period to incubate transition. So assuming Rivers now develop a 20-year plan for development, rural, agro, education, everything. It's a common vision. If I'm the governor, and this is why in other countries, people select deputy governor, chief of staff as possible replacements. American president, you appoint a vice president who can become, and oftentimes there are no primary, it's like a putative candidate. If a president is finishing, the vice or the deputy is seen as the almost 80% successor, because there is a training is part of that. So I think that the government should, as a matter of duty, work hard to influence who emerge after him. It's fair. As long as they follow the rules of the game, campaign peacefully, convince stakeholders that this man will continue the work I've done. In fact, as a matter of fact, anybody that a governor has performed, anybody he presents to the people will likely vote for that person. Because it's that as continue. I didn't mention one other example. We're talking about maybe if you look at Cross River State, they had 4 people who had an agreement to rule turn by turn. Those 4 people have all become governor, apart from I and they who came. And the good thing about them that when they leave, they don't talk to each other. When Donald was the first, here they supported him, became governor. When he left, here came, became governor. Now, Ayade was the one who broke that line, but they supported him, more or less. They didn't, but he didn't perform. This new one is part of that group. So the lesson is this: that orderly transition. In fact, politics is not a good thing. People think that politics is good all the time. If you have a bad politics of continuous change of leadership, it's not developmental. It's better to have a group of leaders like us now. All of you support the government. You have one mind. Among yourself, you're going to have internal conversation. Who can best from the zone, another zone, okay? Who can best do this job? And they say it's Stevie that we want support. We support you. Before you finish it, we have identified a successor. What it does is that it gives you that stability of it. Now you talk about some government will start the program, and now will truncate it. The money is wasted. So I'm in support of a government working hard to make sure that the person who can control the work emerges as the next government. But always with the leadership collective. Every society must have leadership collective. It's not the governor's leadership, it's all of us. And that's why it's called elite consensus. We as leaders, doing the public good, agree together. Let me end this by saying something. See, in the whole world, in human history, all of us will not make decisions. There must be few people who, by circumstance, God has enabled them to have the capacity to be where we can make decisions about leadership. Our traditional leaders, our political leaders, some of our big businessmen. Our responsibility is that we are all guided by the common good. There's nowhere all River citizens, with election, voting is not truly democratic. Some people vote following their families, that is correct. Some follow their leaders who are behind them financially. So what matters is that at every time, the people who have the power are well motivated to focus on the good of the community. So the governor should play politics, naturally, just like the president of Nigeria. He should have interest in who succeeds him. And if he wants the law of the country, electoral fair election, it's legitimate to bring their successor from your own group. But the question is, it's always about the people. And the people have the right to reject that person and vote him out.